I'm not even gonna hold y'all, fam. I just looked at one of my YouTube videos that none of y'all niggas looked at. Gonna find out that bitch ain't got not nan scrape of sound on it. And it was 45 minutes, so I'm in pain. Not physical pain, emotional pain. Because of this, I'm going to chop up that video by just regurgitating what I've already went over, but in smaller increments. I don't know, maybe that would be more useful for you guys anyway. So, this video will be specifically about stat rolls on your armor, why they're important, and why you should care. Alright, so there are 6 main stats, right? There is mobility, resilience, recovery, discipline, intellect, and strength. Mobility, right? This gives you faster walk, strafe speed, and also affects your jump height. Now, literally walk speed, so everybody runs at the same speed, but walking is faster when you have more mobility. Uh, Strafe speed is tied into the walking speed because when you strafe, you walk. If you don't know what strafing is, if you aim down sights and then just move left and right, that is your strafe speed. It's more important in PvP where you're trying to aim and dodge shots. Your jump height, it is your base jump height. So not your double jump height, but the first jump, which can coincide in higher jumping, but it only truly affects your base jump height. Uh, Resilience. The reason why this is important is the higher your resilience, the more natural damage resistance you get, up to 30% if you have 100 resilience. In PvE, if you do not have 100 resilience, you are doing it wrong. Every time. There's not a time where you're trying to not have 100 resilience and doing it right in PvE. Until they change it, 100 resilience. Recovery is a bit more complicated, but it's not that bad. If you ever played any other FPS, it's that whole, oh, well, I'll wait 1.7 seconds and my health will come back. That's what recovery is. Um, the higher your recovery, the shorter the amount of time it takes before you start your health regeneration. Um, it's not quite as good in PvE as it was before, but it's still really useful. Alright, now that we've gone over those top 3 stats, I will explain how they tie into class abilities for each of the classes. So recovery is tied into the Warlock's Rift. The higher your recovery stat, the faster you can get your Rift back. Same thing applies for the Titans with resilience and their barricade. And the same thing applies for hunters with their dodge and mobility. Um, this does hurt hunters the most because they have to try the hardest to have all the stats. Because you want the mobility for your class ability, you want the resilience for damage reduction because everybody does, and you want the recovery because recovery is good to get your health back faster. There is actually trade-offs here, which is good, but if you do nothing else with the top 3, I'll explain why it's top 3 in a second, is you want 100 resilience, at least 3 recovery, and at least 3 mobility. That should be super easy 99.95% of the time. Just wanted to quickly turn the game on to be able to show you stat numbers, and so on and so forth. So They give you percentage base numbers for recovery and mobility. I'm going to just be honest with you guys. That's not going to help you one bit. You're not going to have any idea what the fuck they're trying to tell you or like what base speed increase is. To be honest, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay? If you want to be faster, do more mobility. If you want to recover your health faster, do more recovery. Now, one that gives you a percentage base that'll make sense is damage reduction because it works flat. So if you take 100 damage, 30% damage reduction means you now take 70% of that damage instead. Um, this is why having 100 resilience is key. I didn't mention this before, but that's why this is useful. Um, the tiers are in tens, right? So here we have 22 mobility. This means I'm at tier 2 mobility. So if I have 27 mobility because I added like 7 more, right? I'm still at tier 2, so nothing changes. So if you want your tier to change, you have to push it all the way to the next tens slot. Like so, it was at 22 and I had 8% base speed increase. And now I'm at 32. I'm now at tier 3, which increased it to a tier 12% increase. Alright, then there is discipline. Discipline is tied to your grenade cooldown. Strength is the same thing but to your melee cooldown. And intellect is the same thing but to your super cooldown. So, basically all the same rules as previously are applied to the top three as well as the bottom three. Say I'm at 45, that makes me at tier 4 for my grenade ability. Comes back in a minute and 35 seconds. I really enjoy the fact that these give you specific numbers because when you look at this, it gives you the base cooldown of your grenade, which is a minute and 45 seconds. Excuse me. Now, base cooldown tier, so there's, the different tiers, right? One, two, three, four, all the way up to 10. The base tier is 3. So if you are at tier 3, that means you will get the base cooldown of whatever thing that you are using, right? So tier 3 here, 8 minutes and 20 seconds for my super cooldown. Go to my super, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. If I wanted to get faster than that, then I would put on something like this. That's something we'll have to go over in a different video, but whatever. Now I'm at tier 4, 7 minutes and 54 seconds for my super cooldown. But this will still show the base, so don't get confused. 8 minutes and 20 seconds shows base. You come here to the stat screen, and it shows 7 minutes and 54 seconds to get your super cooldown. Now we're going to go in depth into specifically these different cooldowns and what they can do. So, as you know, the grenade cooldown does the grenade stuff. Discipline cooldown does grenade stuff. Melee cooldown does melee stuff, right? I know, it was like in depth. Yeah. These are self-explanatory. The one that needs more explanation is the intellect stat because super recharges based off multiple factors, right? This number of 7 minutes and 54 seconds is if you stand and do literally nothing. It will take 7 minutes and 54 seconds to get your super. But you also get super energy by taking damage, by dealing damage, specifically with primary weapons, give you more super energy versus other primary weapons, by getting kills, and any other external factors, which we will go over most of those in the armor mod video that I'm doing probably after this. Um, as far as the stats are concerned, that's it. That's just kind of how the stats work. Um, yeah, and the most important thing, which I don't have right now because I've been showing you stuff, but is to try and have 100 resilience. Okay, like this is not a really good set of armor, but 100 resilience is the key, no matter what, for PvE. and then you do other stuff on top of that, right? Like if this was a grenade build, I want to get close to 100 discipline. Because I'm a warlock, I want higher recovery. That's basically how you want to do this. Oh yeah, and one more thing, right? Now that I've told you, okay, well this matters, this stat matters, this stat matters, why it matters, right? Now you're guessing, how do I hunt for this armor? Uh, one way, right? One way that's available to everybody. You run a whole bunch of seasonal content. You get a whole bunch of seasonal content engrams, and then you go to each different seasonal content vendor and you focus for different armor pieces. So, by the way, if you go to your inventory, this thing will show you how many engrams you have. See, I have 49 war table engrams, 59 sonar station engrams. Yeah, you just need to go and focus those. Now, when you focus them, you want to have a leveled up ghost because you can add these things, the armorers, which I know it sounds like I'm saying that weird, but no, they're literally armorers. I might be adding one extra R, but you get the point, right? So, alright, niggas, I had to use the bathroom, so I don't remember where I was, but basically, this thing, the armorers, right? If you put these on, then all of your armor pieces have a chance to drop with 10, or have a guaranteed drop of 10 in whichever one of these stats that you choose. Then you use that. My preference would be Resilience Armorer. And then you go to like this. This is one of the seasonal things. And then Armor. And it'll even tell you focus on high resilience stat. And then you just look for a good stat roll. So we'll grab two of these, right? See, stat roll, stat roll, stat roll. And now you're like, well, what are good stat rolls? Okay, well, these top three are in a bucket, and the bottom three are in a bucket. What's a bucket? Hang on, nigga, let me explain, right? So basically, on legendary armor pieces, the top three can only go as high as 34, right? So these three numbers can equal 34. That's as high as you can get these three numbers. And the same thing for the bottom ones, right? Which means the highest stat roll you can get is 68. So if you ever get a 68 stat roll at base, that means that's the highest stat roll you can get. Nice, right? Now, the other thing, the magic numbers you want to know, is if you want to get to 100 resilience without having to use any of these mods, which again we'll go over later, without having to use outside interference and just putting the armor pieces on, you need four. You need 4 sets of armor, and all of them need to have a resilience number of 22 at base. Why? Calculator. It's on the wrong side. 22 at base, right? 4 pieces of armor equals 88. You can level up your armor, and that'll give you 2 per maxed out piece of armor. You have 5 pieces of armor, so 5 times 2 is 10, plus 10 is 98. So then I lied. You need at least 1 piece at 23. So if you have at least 1 piece at 23 before you do anything to it, and then the rest of the pieces at 22, then without having to add anything else, you'll be at 100 resilience. So the numbers you're looking for up top is 20. Hold on, that's it. No, it's not. No, that's fine. The numbers you're looking for up top is 22 in resilience, and then 10 in either mobility or recovery. It's up to you. If you want a mix of both, then you'll mix them up. But 22 and 10. Video's getting too long, so that's it for now.